What's going on, everyone? It's LFC Transfer Room here, and Liverpool are through to a quarter-final, and the first chance of silverware looks to be very, very much in our hands right now, looking at how other results are going in our favour and stuff like that. So we made hard work of it, but we're through. We're through to the quarterfinals. It doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there. And tonight we're going to have a bit of a post-match debrief. I'm joined by Dan and Andres as we just going to go through some of the highs, some of the lows, who we want in the next round, man of the match, and just sort of have a bit of a dig around. If you've got any questions, if you're new here, please like and subscribe to the channel. It's a fan channel. We go live every day at 7:30 unless there's a game, and then we go live straight after the game. I'll start with you, Dan. It was a nervy encounter, but at the same time, we were always in control.
Yeah, definitely. To be honest with you, as much as it wasn't the most emphatic of wins, a little bit like Nottingham Forest, it was very similar in the way that we approached that match. It was really tough conditions. The wind was blowing a gale for anyone who couldn't watch the game because it wasn't on in the UK and on multiple channels across Europe. Weather was sheeting down, wind was going sideways, wind was a big issue, and it was a tough conditions to go out and play football. But what I was impressed with was a much changed team with players in different positions. They came out there, did a really good job, got involved, created chances, and to be honest with you, other than the goal we conceded, to be honest with you, there wasn't really much to talk about coming from the other end. So I was really happy. I felt like we turned it on when we needed to, got the job done, and ultimately just looking forward to the draw and seeing what happens.
Yeah, and just it reminds me of when you used to play sport as a kid, and the pitch was slightly tilted, and then the wind would go down, and you try and kick it, and the ball would just come straight back at you, and you'd be like, "Oh God, it's going to be a long after." It kind of felt like that sort of vibes, didn't it?
Yeah, especially in the second half when like the wind was fully blowing at at our end. You noticed that it was affecting us, especially when we were passing around the back a little bit. We were having some issues. There were a couple close calls there that we'll go into, but this match had some nervy moments. But at the end of the day, you're happy in like a cup tie like this. You just get the result, you move on. To be fair, we had some really good chances that could have made the game 2-0 at one point. That solid chance that just missed by like a ball's length. It almost went in. So I do agree that we were in control for basically the entire match. And then there was just that little mistake on the goal there. But besides that, I think we looked pretty good. Of course, we had some like a great goal from Darwin to lead us into that win, but it felt inevitable that even when it was 1-1, we would find that second goal and go through.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Soboslai had a Darwin first season game today. Everything was just an inch the wrong side. He could have, I think for me, he was about a 6 out of 10 today, but he could have been a 10 out of 10 if he'd have just been half a yard the other way on pretty much everything that he struck. It was just unfortunate today. It just didn't really work for him, did it?
No. Transfer, I was a little bit frustrated at times with him, to be honest. I could see that he was trying very hard. It wasn't for lack of trying. It was just unfortunately that the final bit of quality. He was snatched at a shot early on in the first half that kind of went way wide, and then he came a lot closer a little bit later on where, again, it was like, just a ball's width from hitting the post. So he got closer, and he just wasn't his day, to be honest with you. It wasn't through lack of trying. It was just everything he was doing was just either a little bit too much or just not quite enough. But to be honest with you, he's allowed one. The way he's played recently, he's allowed to kind of... And he was playing out of position as well. He's not played in that position so far this season. And I thought he played quite well. Kind of at times he was in the middle, and then at times he kind of went out onto the right hand side. When with Salah was on the ball, he would kind of swap sides with him as well. So yeah, I was relatively impressed with him, but it wasn't his best game.
Who impressed you tonight, Andres? What players for you? And please let me know in the chat. Who stood out to you tonight? Who do you think had a good game? Give me 3 players that for you. Like, do you know what? You had a really good game tonight.
The player that every time I see him play, like he just impresses me a little bit more and more because he's just been kind of thrown into this role, and I think he's taking it very well in stride. For me, is Kwanzaa. I just like this kid is now fully going to be playing these cup matches and these Europa League matches, and it just looks like he's getting just a little bit better as each game goes. having some good stops. The other player that really impressed me was Joe Gomez. I thought he did really well. He's getting a nice run of form, honestly, this season, which is really great to see because in the past seasons, he's been either riddled with injuries and not playing much, but he looked really good. He had that great goal line clearance on that corner in the second half that was swinging in. And then probably for the final player, just the player that for the past couple of weeks has just been like the most exciting one to watch on the team is definitely got to be Darwin Nunez, with just the quintessential Darwin Nunez goal that he gets with the horrible touch that makes you groan. You're like, what are you doing? And then just cuts in and scores this terrific goal. It was hilarious to watch.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you're right. I hadn't thought about it, but it was that, he's missed control. He could have been in there.
Yeah.
And then he comes in and then just whips it with venom. Anyone else stand out for you, Dan? Or are those the three main ones for you?
Yeah, I mean, they were the standout performers, weren't they, in that game? Quanta coming in there, getting a full senior game kind of under his belt after not playing a couple of games for a while now away from home. And he just looks every part. He looks every bit of the part. If we'd signed him for 40-50 million pounds from some exotic club in Portugal, we'd all be going, oh, look what we've found, look what we've got. He's amazing. And to be honest with you, to come out of our academy almost completely out of the blue. It wasn't someone who was kind of on everyone's lips to make the breakthrough, and he's every bit that you would want from a centre back. And if he carries on learning, he carries on, getting the education that we think he's going to get, he's going to go a long way in this club. I was dead impressed. Andreas hit the nail on the head though about Joe Gomez. He had a very, very good game. He was really good up on that right hand side. He was playing almost like that kind of advanced sort of winger at times. And he was getting the ball in, and on another day, he probably could have got himself an assist. So he was fantastic. Nunez does Nunez things. He can do the sublime along with the dreadful within 10 seconds of each other. The touch was awful, but the finish was probably his best finish he's had for us. That was a wonderful goal. I'm trying to think of anyone who really else kind of jumped out at me. I'm going to say, to be honest, I'm going to say Costas Tsimikas, just for the simple fact is that he's kind of come under a lot of fire in a lot of previous games for not being the best. But to be fair today, he went out there, he did his job, didn't really get caught in any sort of issues that caused us a problem. And he's sort of finding a little bit of ground, which is really important for us with Robbo being out until, Christmas at earliest.
Yeah, I think for me, when I think about Joe Gomez, what we saw today is he's trusting his body more.
Yeah,
for me, like he's running at pace, he's running onto things, he's trusting. His pace is almost coming back. At a case of, I think he was always running within himself because he thought, I'm going to injure myself again, I'm going to pull something. Whereas now, there was a couple of times he, in the middle of the park where he passed it to his left foot, to his right foot to drive past someone and sprint. And so it's just the trusting of his body. The player we've not mentioned that stood out for me was Endo stood out for me. Wataru Endo stood out for me today. And not for anything spectacular, but I think he's starting to learn what playing at this level is, because he's starting to ping balls at people with a lot more pace and venom. And obviously better players can control it better. And I think he's learning what it means to play in this high level team. And I think he's attacking and winning the ball. A couple of really good tactical fouls, which you want from a DM. So I was pleased with his progress today. I would say that we were more solid with him on the pitch.
Yeah, what I always like about Endo as well is he always looks to play a positive pass. He's not a crab. He will look. Yeah. So if he can get a forward pass in, he'll play it. And I like that because he tries to get the team going all the time. He could play it safe and go, I'll go sideways or go to my centre back or whatever. But if he can get a pass off into the midfield, he's always looking for it. And he's taken a lot of stick, and he seems to be just going, do you know what? I'm deserve a place here. I'm going to keep getting my head down and working hard. And you can't fault the guy. It may not be spectacular, but he's doing his bit.
Jamie, rumour has it was Damo, not me. I know you'd love it to be me, but rumour has it was Damo. They didn't see eye to eye on something, which is shocking considering how agreeable Damo is, and to just bash straight there. So Arsenal are out.
Yep.
Man United look to be out. The 3-0 down at only 88th minute.
Yeah.
Man City are out. Andreas, is it now failure if we don't win this cup?
I say it depends, like, who we keep putting out. I think for me, this looks like the most obvious outcome is that we're going to get another Liverpool-Chelsea final, and we're going to just do this again. No penalties. It's bound to happen at this point. I think we need to get to the final in this. Like, I know a lot of people throw away the Carabao Cup because it's just like not like the tournament that you're looking to win. It's no even FA Cup, and of course no like anything in Europe. But a trophy is a trophy here, and you have a lot of players in the squad now that just joined, and they have the chance to win their first trophy at Liverpool. I think we should be going for it. We should definitely be getting to the final, and we should even if we play Chelsea, any team that's left, we should be beating them.
Dan, I think we were a lot more serious about it tonight. There was only really 2 youngsters in the squad, if you think about it, which was Scanlon and Kwanzaa. Everyone else is first-team rotation.
Yep.
Yeah, there might not all be starters that are starting that game, but, Gakpo, Salah, Jones, Matip, Gomez, Costas, Keller. They're the squad players, so to speak, but they play a lot of first-team minutes as well.
Yeah.
So it seems like we've taken that step from youth now into taking this more seriously, especially now we're coming to the business end of it. And probably the kids will get more of a run out in the Carabao in the next 2 games when we've qualified. We beat Toulouse again, we've qualified. You've got 2 more games to play, as many kids as you want in European football. So do you think it's that more first teamers are going to be flooding into the starting 11?
Yeah, I think as a fan base under Klopp, we've kind of become sort of accustomed to the fact that Klopp never took the FA Cup or the League Cup seriously, and rightfully so, because the team that he inherited and the one that he's built wasn't to go and win the League Cup or the Carabao or the FA Cup. It was to win the league and win the Champions League, and we did that 2019, 2020, and then ever since then, obviously we went into our nearly quad season. I think now that we have a squad that's capable of going for everything now, we are deep enough. We have quality, not just on the bench, but even coming into kind of the players who can't make the bench every game or even get on the pitch. We have 2 very good 11s. I said last night on the prediction show that we would go strong. And to be fair, when I look back on it, I go, well, what's weak? The only thing that would be weak would be for us to go into the academy. Because we go to our bench in the past, we did have a significant drop off from the first 11, but now even if we go to our bench, you're swapping out players quality for quality. It may not be quite as good, but they're still very good and more than capable of getting the job done. So yeah, I think we're set up now in a much better position for us to go for this. If the draw's friendly to us in the next round, hopefully, I mean it's a quarter final to a semi-final, and we're 3 games away from lifting a trophy. So if we've come this far, we might as well try and get the get a bit of silverware to show for it.
And Andreas, who do you want next? Who do you want in the next round? Who have you got your eye on?
Well, I was checking just a second ago to see who was left in, and the team that I think would be really fun to get, of course, would be Everton. And oh man, we would easily batter them. It would be perfect if we got Everton. I think Fulham's also there, but looking at those teams, I want Everton.
Dan, who do you want?
I'll never pass up a chance to beat Everton, ever. I'll never, ever piss up a chance. Any chance to play Everton in a cup or anywhere, I'm there. So, yeah, Everton, give me Everton. Anfield at Goodison, I don't really care. Play them on Stanley Park. I want to play them, 100%.
Okay. Now, obviously, we've got some coach Helio here, which I don't agree regarding Endo. As a DM, you have to win more duels, both on the ground and in the air, and your passing accuracy has to be even better than what Endo is producing. His passing accuracy was 83.3%, which isn't as good as Curtis Jones' 93.3, but it's better than Harvey Elliott's 79.5. In terms of his duels, it doesn't really have it here in terms of duels. He did 2 fouls, 1 clearance, 1 interception, 1 total tackle. which is about the same as most. He got a 6.7 who scored rating, which isn't the best, but it isn't the worst. It's about the same as what Costas got. I'm not necessarily sure. Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure that he has done anything particularly wrong that's demonstrated in that game that he wasn't good enough. What about for you, Andreas? Because it's a game of opinions. And Helios normally quite good with the stats.
I'd say he does mention in his next comment that he doesn't see Endo as a title-winning DM. And to that point, I don't disagree on it. I do think that when we got Endo, I was first as like a little lackluster because we were hoping for a big name DM there. But then now seeing him play, I'm like, this is a great guy to have just on your bench, available for cup matches, available for that kind of that throwaway game in the Europa League, or even to start against another team. Like, this is a good guy to have. Like, he's going to put in pretty decent performances, solid, not make too many mistakes. But ideally, he would be the backup to another DM.
Maybe a Brazilian DM.
Yes, hopefully a Brazilian DM that could be playing in the Copa Libertadores final on Saturday. So, but I have to say that definitely as the more games I watch of Endo, the more impressed I am with him. And I am seeing that he is just adapting to this level of football and he's getting better. So I don't want to just like toss him away now and be like, oh, this signing was not good enough. Like, he's going to grow into it, be a better player. And I think he's going to be an important part of the squad.
Yeah, I do agree. And I think we give a lot of credit to Soboslai, to McAllister, and they got an entire preseason. Gravenberch has come in, and obviously he's done amazingly well with the same level of integration that Endo's had. But it's one of those situations for me where I would rather have a player who gives everything and seems to do the job well. Helios put ground duels 1, 2, aerial duel 1, none, which is interesting. I don't have that information, but I will take your word for it, Helio. But I thought he did really well tonight. That's the thing for me. But there we go. We're going to move on to player ratings. And we're going to give our grades on what we think each of the players did today. So we're going to start with the back four. I'll come to you first, Andreas, which is Kelleher in goal. Do you think he was at fault for the goal? And what would you give him out of 10?
At fault for the goal, I think that's a good question. I was obviously with the match. I check Twitter every once in a while during a match, and you see a crazy range of reactions for it. I don't think he was really that much at fault for that goal. He had some shots that came at him with the wind going on it, and he did a good job saving those. However, like, he also had some issues playing it out the back. There was one moment that looked really dodgy where he decided to pass into pressure rather than just going to his right, where there was a lot of open space. For me, I would give him, like, out of 10, like a 6.5 out of 10.
We don't do 0.5s here.
Oh, fine. So
6 or 7.
I'm going to say 6 then. I think it's below 7, though.
Dan, for you?
Yeah, do you know what's weird? And me and Andreas must have a telepathic link. I actually had 6.5 in my head. I'm glad you got that one right. Yeah, 6. Now, I'm a little bit more critical. I think he was quite at fault for the goal. I know it was kind of the back post, but he's just floundering in no man's land. You know, when he's going for that ball, he's nowhere to be seen when it comes in. He's misjudged the path of the ball. And, you know, rule 1 is if you're not going to catch it, don't go for it. You know, that's the thing, and he's nowhere. And it's been uber critical, but otherwise, he's done a lot of good stuff. You know, he's second choice goalkeeper. He is very good. He doesn't get as many games as he probably deserves, but at the end of the day, he's behind Allison. So, what do you want? Yeah, a 6. It's above average.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you on a 6. I think it'd have been a 7 if he'd have caught the ball as he should have. But it's unfortunately when a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it tends to cost a goal.
Yeah.
So I think Jamie Hughes is saying a 6. I think we're all collectively agreed here on a 6. So Kelleher gets a 6. Next, we're going to go to Joe Gomez. What do you give him? And I'll start with you, Dan. What are you giving him out of?
Yeah, I would give him a 7. Ultimately, I always think that keeping a clean sheet is the defence's job. We didn't keep that on this occasion. He did brilliantly for the second chance where he cleared it off the line. Fantastic, really, really good job there. He was really good on the attack. Didn't do an awful lot kind of wrong at all, really, and nothing I can kind of point out. He seemed to be good on the ball. He was confident, which is, as you said, James, he's trusting himself a lot more. He really, really is, and that's great to see, because for us as a club, having a Gomez who is back to somewhat his best is fantastic for us. He's such a great player.
Short.
And I have to agree. I thought Gomez was fantastic today. I thought he was really good. I think 7's probably the right rating. Missing that 8, like he did have a couple of chances to. He almost got like that assist there. If he gets that assist there, that's like an 8 performance. But can't really point out any faults in his game today. He looked good on the attack, good in defense. I say it's a very solid 7 performance.
Again, I'm agreeing with both of you. I've got Joe Gomez down as a 7, so we're in agreement at the moment for 2 in a row. We're not in any form of disagreement. I think Jamie's also has 7, so we've got people on stream also doing that. So next we're going to go to Joel Matip. And I'll kick this one off. For me, I think he found himself in a few too many foot races trying to cover, and I don't think it was necessarily his best positional game. I've given him a 6. I think he was above average, but I don't think he was controlling the game in my mind. So I've given him a 6. Not that he's done anything wrong, but I think he was out of position and got out foot raced a couple of times. Andreas, for you, Matip?
Yeah, there were a few nervy moments with him that, exactly, didn't feel comfortable. Exactly, I didn't feel, like you said, the word like in control. I do think that pushes him in that 6 area. I was closer, if I was doing a 0.5, for me it would be closer to 5.5. But I think a 5 is pretty harsh for him. So I think I would bump him up a little to say 6, because he did have, it wasn't like he made like a horrible mistake at one point that would give him a really bad rating, but he did look a little nervy at times that, obviously if you see more of like a Van Dijk there, like you're like, these moments are way more comfortable, but he was losing those foot races, slightly out of position, and ended up coming back in it, but it was not like his best performance we've seen this season.
I agree. So we've Matip at 6. Now, Muse has already gone early. Kwanzaa, 8. He's given us a rating. Andreas, I'll let you go first. What rating are you giving Kwanzaa?
For Kwanzaa, I think honestly, I would like to see some of his his dual stats. But honestly, for me, when I was watching the game, I was like, yeah, this guy's having a great performance. I think 8 is fair. I think, and also I would probably rank him either like 1 or 2 for man of the match. He was very solid at the back. Had some good moments on like these shoulder to shoulder, those 50-50s. He looked just really great. I think 8's. I don't think saying 8 is too high. I think he had a great game.
Dan?
I was going to say 9. To be fair, I give that based on the factors of his age. He was out there playing out with the big boys, and this is only his kind of second big game up against a Premier League team. It was an incredibly tough night weather-wise, up against some big lads, Keeper Moore and Billing and lads like that, and he just stepped up to it. And you wouldn't have thought that this was a youth player. You'd have thought he was a squad player who'd been there for years, and he was very confident on the ball, big tackles. He was making some good decisions, and he got himself out of trouble on a few occasions. So I'm going to be overly fair on him on the factors, and I think he's a 9, to be honest, because I'd have gone 8.5. So I'll go high.
I don't think he was a 9, because I think he's got a 9 in him. I think there was that one moment where he really cleared the ball and did really well under the bar, where I think Kelleher was in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
So I definitely think he's the top scoring of our defenders. I've given him an 8 for me. So if we've got 2 8s and a 9, Dan, you're outvoted.
Fine by me.
But I'll let you kick us off with Costas.
Costas, again, a 6. There was nothing spectacular about what he did. There was nothing which I can go, do you know what, that was fantastic. But what he was is that he didn't let us down. He went out there, he did his job. He did everything quite as well as it needed to be done, to be totally honest with you. And because they were playing a big lad through the middle, it wasn't so much that our wingers were having too much of a job to really do, to be totally honest. So, in all honesty, I would say a 6. Above average, he did what he needed to do, and that's all I ask from him.
That makes sense. Andres?
Yeah, I would have to say he had given an above average performance, not a spectacular one anyway, but also wasn't an eyesore, not a lot of mistakes there. Had some good overlap play, some good balls. I think 6 is about right. Like, it was just an above average performance. And honestly, for me, I'm happy to see him now playing at that level. I hope he just keeps that up because we're really going to need him in the next, basically, what was it, month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think it was a good game from Costas, and hopefully, he just kind of grows from there.
I gave him a 7 because I think it's his best game for us, and I don't think he did any. I think he got in some good attacking positions, but 2 6s outvoted. 6 it is. The only reason I went higher is because I think his attacking runs were intelligent tonight. I don't think he got caught out of position as he has done many a time. I think he ran at the right times and he did well. So yeah, that's kind of why I went with that. But I again, that's just giving him a grade based on something that I think he's particularly weak at, that he's not done badly. So then we'll go Harvey Elliott. Now, this is a tricky one for me, if I'm really honest, because didn't have a bad game, but for me, didn't have his best game either.
No.
79% possession, 4.6 passes, total shots 2. Yeah, he kind of helped. He got us the first goal, didn't he, with that great strike? I'm between a 6 and a 7. I'm going to say a 6
lower.
So much better.
I was thinking lower, to be honest with you. I'm not overly critical of Harvey Elliott. I'm just I like the lad, but my concern so far is with starting. He seems to have very limited influence when it comes to into the game, and he had a really good chance to put us 1-0 up a little bit earlier on, where he put it straight to the keeper, which was disappointing. And I hope that he'd taken that chance. He just, as you say, there's possession and stuff like that. It wasn't one of his best games. I use halves and I would have said 5.5, but with this one, I was probably leading more closer to the 5, to be totally honest with you. Just on this occasion, I just don't think it was his best game. But that is similar to how he started games previously. He's been a much better substitute than he has been a starting player so far.
Okay. And what are you scoring him, Andreas?
I was going to agree with the 6. I know some other sites have given him like a 7.3 and then or like 7.5. I don't know where they're getting that from. For me, he had a few good chances. I was very disappointed with the shot on that cutback from Soboslai. I was expecting a lot. I thought for sure when I saw that ball go there that we were going to get our first goal of the match, and then seeing that shot was very disappointing. And then he did have the shot that came off Kwanzaa and then led to the goal by Gapko, which was a little bit of luck from that deflection going then at the keeper and then the keeper not holding on to that. But for me, it was he didn't have like a great level of like influence on the match that I think in some other performances we have seen. It was not close to being one of his best performances. I don't know. I've been more impressed with him in other matches this season. I feel like he was just playing a little bit below that level that we have seen him already this season.
Okay. So 2 6s and a 5. Gives him a 6. Endo next. Now, Andreas, I'll let you kick off on Endo.
This one is definitely one between like a 6 and a 7. I do think he did get booked, or what, did he get booked? Pretty sure he got a yellow at one point. It was a tactical foul. It was not a bad one, but for me, he didn't have like a special like moment or like a great ball, but he was I think he's not like in like the 5 territory. Like he was doing like the little things right, was playing some better passes. Pass accuracy could have been a little bit better. Could have won more duels, but I think saying a 6 is fair. Didn't make major mistakes. Helped us in some moments. Wasn't fully out of place. 6.
I'm with the 6. Dan?
Yeah, can't argue with that. To be honest with you, it was what we needed of a performance. It wasn't spectacular, but no one was overly spectacular. To be fair, so yeah, he was probably on par with the team. Yeah, about a 6.
Now, next we've got Curtis Jones, and Curtis Jones is an interesting one because I think he did all right today, but he didn't play at the level that he was playing before he got banned. Dan, what have you? But his pass success was like 93%.
Yeah,
like best in. Well, apart from Gravenberch, it was a sub. He was absolute best in the team in terms of pass success and keeping the ball distributed. It's that Gini Wijnaldum role, isn't it, of just keeping the ball in rotation. What have you given him today?
Yeah, to be honest with you, this was, again, it was another one of those ones where he did the things that he's good at really well. As you say, he's very good at passing, very high passing stats. If you just look at the stats, basically. I just felt like he didn't influence the game as much as he did, as you say, before the ban came in. And this could be because he's lost his little, vein of form, which he was running into prior to the Tottenham game. And it wasn't that it was a bad performance, but again, it just wasn't. It was a little bit kind of Curtis Jones that we knew from before. So for me, I would probably have gone around. I'm going to say a 5. I just don't think it was okay. It was a good enough performance. It was average, but he wasn't kind of pushing on for where I felt that he could do. And I'm a bit gutted because this was a good opportunity for him to kind of ask the question of Klopp coming on for the weekend.
I've gone with a 6 for Jones. I don't think he was a 5. I can see the logic for a 5, but when he has the second most possession of any Liverpool player, there's 2 minds to that, which is one, did we have control of the game? And the answer is yes.
Yep.
And then the other part of it is, did we put them to bed? And the answer is no.
Yeah.
So I think the difference between a 6 and a 7 is we put them to bed.
Yeah.
He only got dispossessed once,
which is Curtis Jones. To be honest with you, he is. His stats are incredible when it comes to ball retention. He is a fantastic Gini Wijnaldum kind of player. But like Gini Wijnaldum, when he was within the team, we romance him. But when he was here, we up many account we'd have said, was he on the pitch? If you know what I mean, like it was at times quite, was he there? And to be fair, that was a very. But yeah, no, it is fair. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm not going to argue that fact. I just don't think it was fair.
I think it's coming. I think there's a player for me that's getting a 5.
What I'll premise a 5 with is that I don't like to go too high. I think 5 is average. When I say a 5, I'm not slagging them. I'm actually saying that's about right. That's an average performance because I don't give 10s out. I don't give, kind of like I gave a 9. I know I did for Kwanzaa, but that's because we can't give 0.5. So yeah, I went higher for him.
What have you gone for Jones, Andreas?
I'm gonna be honest. Like Dan's reasoning is saying what a 5 is. I think I'm gonna go 5 for Jones. Because for me, he wasn't. Yeah, he had like an average game, like very good, like possession, not getting dispossessed. It's like Gini Wijnaldum performance that we have been very accustomed to when he was there. But he didn't do like that extra bit that we know he can do on attack. Like he had 0 influence on attack. He was the safe option today. Just give the ball to Jones. We hold on to possession. he'll pass around the side, and then But we know that he can do that more, that forward play, not just play it safe. And I was hoping that he would do it today in this game against Bournemouth. It seems like the right game, maybe to try to get back into form and get that confidence back after, being like sent off against Tottenham, and he's still like rebuilding from that. But I think for me, it was like an average Curtis Jones performance, which then ranks it as a 5.
Okay, so that's 2 5s versus 6. 5 it is. Now we move on to the front three. But before we do the front three, let's do the one sub that we need to grade, which is Darwin Nunez. The winner, the match winner. It was a very Darwin Nunez performance, wasn't it? It's like Diego Jota, where he miscontrolled. He lost possession. I was convinced he was going to just bag one in the top corner in the 93rd minute. For me, Nunez was 7 because it's a match-winning goal and it's under a pressure moment, and that's when he did it. I think he would have been a 6, but yeah, I think it's a 7 for me. Andreas, for you?
I think was it Jamie who's put it there perfectly. Darwin's 7, but his shot was a 9. For me, his shot was a 10.
Yeah.
That's his best finish he's had at the club.
No, the
Newcastle one though definitely comes to mind. But that finish was great, and I would say that was his moment. Was that shot? That was his moment of the match. And hey, that's all you need. And when you come on as a sub, is to get that goal, get us the win. But no, it's not like an 8 performance, but he does get us that match-winning goal. It's a terrific finish. 7.
Dan, agreed? You're on mute.
Oh,
you're definitely on mute, Dan.
You hear us?
I'll translate for anyone because obviously Dan's on mute.
We can't.
I really liked Darwin Nunez' performance today. I thought he was really good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, that was weird. I'm sorry. Yeah. No. Yeah. 100%. I can't agree more. Yeah. He's a 7. We didn't have a lot of control of the game, other than the goal. It wasn't a spectacular performance. Let's be honest with you. But the goal was spectacular.
Soboslai. Now, I'm going to start this off, and I might get some hate for this, but I'm giving him a 5 today. And the reason I'm giving him a 5 is because he was half a yard on everything. He could have been a 10. Like, he created himself that many openings and opportunities, but it was just slightly the wrong option every single time. I think he tried too hard once it wasn't going his way, and it was a bit of Darwin first season problem. So he gets a 5 for me, Sobo, today.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't the best of performances. He looked like he almost let the occasion get to him, which was a bit strange. With it being the Carabao Cup, it's like he was almost too into it. I know he made some comments towards his national compatriot from the Bournemouth team about saying, you best hope I don't play. It's almost felt like he kind of bought into that a little bit too much, and he was trying a little bit too hard. And on this occasion, it just didn't work out for him in the quality department. 10 out of 10 for effort, but 5 out of 5 for the finishes.
Andreas, are you with us on the 5?
Yeah, I'm with you guys on the 5. I have to agree with the whole comment he made to his teammate about you better hope I'm not playing. It's like he thought this was like round of 16 of the Champions League or something like that. I'm like, nah, this is the energy drink cup, man. I know you're hyping yourself up for. We're just playing Bournemouth, but he had these like little opportunities that if they go his way, gets that better score, that shot that just missed the post. He skewed a couple shots. Then he had the cut back to Harvey that doesn't lead to the assist. But this was an average performance from Soboslai. We know what he can do when he's on his game, and today he wasn't playing at the level that he has played this season. He wasn't like bad per se though, but he just wasn't as good as we know he can be. So I think he was just average is what he was. So 5. Yeah, we're in agreement.
Next, we're going to do Cody Gakpo. Scored a goal. I'm gonna give you some data before you give your rating. Scored a goal, 3 shots. Who scored rating of 7.83? Possession 2%. Pass success 75%. 3 aerial 1, which is the same as Bournemouth's leading centre back. So won the most aerial duels of anyone. Was ranked number 2 for tackles won. So pressing and everything like that. Wasn't dispossessed at all. Played a very Firmino-like role, if there is such a thing, in a strange 4-4-2 diamond, which I wasn't a big fan of because it turned into a 4-3-3 diamond anyway. I'd rather played Szoboszlai on the left wing and seen if he could have done it. What are you giving Gakpo, Dan?
An 8 was weirdly not influenced by yours. An 8 was my opinion again, and I'll preface it with the fact is that he's been out of the team. He's under a lot of pressure because of how well Nunez is playing, and his position in this team has gone from being guaranteed, as it was towards the end of last season, to a point where now he looks like he's the bench option. And what he's done is he's taken his opportunity tonight. He's gone out there and shown what he's capable of doing, which is actually kind of statistically, he's out there and he's winning the ball. He's winning there. He's winning the headers. He's trying to get us back in possession, further up the pitch, and he's there for the goal. He's there for that little that kind of that rebound that we needed for him, that fox in the box, which he's capable of, which he nearly got against Nottingham Forest. Just gone. So he's there. He's asking the question, and to be honest with you, he could have took the knock kind of thing. He's had an injury, and now Nunez is firing, and I'm not going to get my chance. And to be fair, every time he's been given an opportunity, he stepped up, and so I'm going to give him an 8. I think he was brilliant.
I agree with you on the 8. Andreas?
I'm not in disagreement about the 8. I think you kind of
you got me then with I'm not. I was like, what?
Was it? You definitely got me with the Firmino comparison. It's one of those games where I feel like the performance gets overlooked, but if you're watching it, you see that wow, this player is doing so much. The only thing that was missing was for Gakpo's goal for him just to look away while he tapped that one in for the true Firmino performance. But no, he was very good. He's just winning that ball back, putting on pressure. Klopp must be so happy watching him play, especially coming back up from this injury, and just for him to perform in that role like that. He was great. I think 8 is perfect for him.
Yeah.
And we're going to finish on Salah. And I'll start. I'm struggling with Salah today. I think he had a lot of the ball. He had a lot of shots. He dribbled with the ball. He got off a couple of tackles. I think he did some good pressing today in terms of winning us the ball back. I think he was a 7 for me.
Yeah.
I think he was as good as Gomez, but I think if you base it on Salah, if you say Salah's average and Salah's this, then you say it's not a 7. But I think as a team as a whole, it's a 7. And Jamie Hughes makes a really good point here, Dan, which is why 95 minutes in this match for this guy?
Yeah, it is questionable, that one, to be fair. It's a questionable one that he's played so many minutes. I said last night in the thing, I thought he would maybe, get 30 minutes or maybe get 60 minutes. Start the game or finish the game. You do one or the other. But the fact that he's done a full 90 is a little bit strange. I know he's after the goals. I know Luton shouldn't be pushing every piece of wood that we can find the biggest of challenges. But tonight, I would say a 7, and I'm being quite fair because, as you quite rightly mentioned, I can't compare him to Salah performances, and that wouldn't be fair because in a Salah performance it wasn't that great, not from what we know he's capable of. But looking at what he did for the team, he worked hard, he created chances, he was always a threat, he was always a problem. Just tonight, it just didn't work out that he got his his goal or his assist that we kind of expected him to probably get. He'll be disappointed.
But ultimately, he's done what we needed him to do tonight. He kept him preoccupied.
Andreas?
Yeah, I think it's hard to compare it to Salah's standards. I feel like if you're doing it based on Salah's performances, this one's like a 5.
Yeah.
It's not just like a spectacular one, but for what he did for the team, I think 7 is fair. There was a couple moments like really good. I really like that ball over the top played by McAllister towards the end that he almost got on the end of that one. That could have been his little goal there.
Yeah.
And I would liked it for him to keep his goal contribution streak he's been building. But yeah, he did a good job with some tackles, like you said. Good job helping the team. It's not the greatest Salah performance. It's not the one that excites you to see. I think somebody mentioned in the chat that seeing him more central is a bit annoying. I like seeing him more out on the wing where you get him more space and dribbling and cutting in there. But I think it's still like he played a very strong role for the team, and he still created a lot of chances and was in there getting shots off.
So to give you guys a rundown of how we have scored player ratings today: Kelleher 6, Gomez 7, Matip 6, Kwanzaa 8, Costa 6, Elliott 6, Endo 6, Jones 5, Darwin 7, Soboslai 5, Gakpo 8, Salah 7. Dan, your man of the match.
Well, Joel Kwanzaa for me. I think Kwanzaa was absolutely fantastic. Stepped up, did a big job for us. He deserves it. He was a brilliant addition to the team. The goal line clearance, the tackles. He looked every part of Liverpool player, and I'm so excited for him. I'm so pleased.
Now, I've gone for Gakpo as my man of the match because I think he was everything that we needed to keep control of the game. I think he did everything that you would expect of a false 9. I don't think anyone was particularly, actually, I think the best player on the pitch was Justin Kluivert for Bournemouth. It's just he was on the wrong team because I think he had an absolutely outstanding game. But for me, Gakpo was man of the match because he scored a goal, etc., etc. Which means, Andreas, you are the deciding vote, unless you go for someone else, and then pretty much it's the chat's choice. Who is your man of the match?
I'm going to have to go with Dan on this one. For me, Kwanzaa is my man of the match.
Never having him on again.
But no, for me, it was just this literally kid academy player. Like Dan was saying it earlier in the stream. Like if you told me that this was a player that we had gone from like Portugal or somewhere for like 30 to 50 million pounds, and we were talking about how terrific this signing has been for us. It's one of these products that usually when somebody comes out of the academy, we get a little bit disappointed that they haven't lived up to our expectations. This guy's come from literally nowhere. I was not following him when he was in the academy, and he's impressed so much. And he really stood out today and rose to this performance. For me, man of the match.
Completely agree. I can't be upset that we're giving Kwanzaa the man of the match. And I think one of the things that we are going to have to remember is at some point, Kwanzaa will have a really crap period. He's a young kid. He'll play well. He'll play badly. He'll do good things. He'll do bad things. What we've got to do is, enjoy him while he's in great vein of form, but also support him and don't, knock him when he does make a mistake. Because as a defender, it probably will lead to a goal. And he will go through that bad period, but that's absolutely fine because the potential's clear for us all to see. Liverpool are through to the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup. Arsenal are out. Man United are out. Man City are out. We're just filled with the mid-table teams now, like Chelsea and Everton and Fulham, West Ham. There is no reason Liverpool should not be making it to the final of this competition. Whether we get Newcastle now, in the future, what we've said on stream is we want Everton. We want Everton in the next round because what's more fun than breaking Everton hearts? This has been LFC Transfer Room. Thank you very much for Dan and Andreas for joining us. If you are new here, please like and subscribe to the channel. we will catch you on the next one. And yes, Paul Lindo, Tottenham are out as well, but I class them also as a mid-table club. Yeah, they've had a good start, but come on. When was the last time, really? And on that bombshell, we'll catch you on the next one where all the Tottenham fans can come into the stream, all three of them, and tell me why I'm wrong. Speak to you soon. Goodbye.